Welcome to Storytime Fun, boys and girls. We hope you enjoy. Today's story is out of the Walt Disney's Storyland book. And today's story is called The Old Mill. It was early spring when the mother and father robin found the old mill. "This is the place for our nest," said the father robin as they flew into the dim, cool, peaceful place. "Let us start right away," said the mother robin. "I like it here." "Everybody likes it here," said the little mouse who scampered over to visit. He waved a tiny paw, and in the shadows the robins could see drowsy bats hanging from the rafters high above, and an owl dozing on a lofty beam. And in the corners, spiders were spinning. "Oh, we shall have neighbors," said the mother robin. "How nice." So they chose a hollow in the old mill wheel stone base, and there they built their nest. Soon after the nest was finished, the mother robin laid 5 speckled eggs in it. "We have 5 speckled eggs in our nest," sang the mother robin to the sleepy bats and the drowsy owl and the spinning spiders and the scampering mice in the old mill. "We have 5 speckled eggs in our nest," sang the father robin to the cows in the meadow and the ducks swimming on the pond and the frogs hiding under the lily pads outside the old mill. Then he hunted until he found the plumpest, most delicious worms to take home to the mother robin. So the spring days drifted softly past the old mill. Every morning the cows came out to pasture nearby, and at twilight they plodded homeward through the thick meadow grass, with the ducks waddling along close behind them. Then the frogs popped up, one by one, among the lily pads, and the deep chug-a-rum of the frog chorus drifted into the old mill where the mother robin was waiting on her nest. "We shall not have much longer to wait," said the mother robin one evening as the twilight deepened to soft black night. "Soon our eggs will hatch," said the father bird to the friendly little mouse, and the kind old round-faced moon smiled down on them all, safe and sound in the sturdy old mill. But as the robins sat close together in the darkness, chirping softly to one another, a sly old wind came skimming over the meadow grasses. The wind rustled the reeds at the duck pond's edge. It rattled the tall cattails. The wind blew a cloud across the face of the kind old moon. The frog choristers disappeared under the lily pads. The crickets were silent in the quivering reeds. But now the saucy wind began to howl and scream, and it shivered the windmill sails high above. With an uneasy creak, the sails began to turn, and inside the old mill, wheels rumbled and rusty chains clanked. "Oh dear," chirped the mother bird as the great mill wheel came clanking down toward the nest. "A storm! A storm! What shall we do?" she said to the father robin. "We shall have to leave the nest if the wheel comes closer," said the father bird, ruffling his feathers in alarm. "Leave our nest? Our precious eggs?" chirped the mother bird. "Oh, never! We would never do that." So the father and the mother robin huddled together there in the creaking darkness. Meanwhile, the ropes of the old mill groaned and strained, and shutters banged themselves to pieces at the old mill's windows. Now rain came pouring down, and lightning flashed, and far across the meadow deep thunder growled and roared. Each time the mill wheel creaked round, it seemed as if it would be the last moment for the little nest. But the father and mother robin stayed on through it all, keeping their eggs warm and dry. Now the beating rain forced its way into the mill itself and sent the mice scampering to find new holes. The wind tore angrily at the old mill. Finally, the storm in its fury flung a lightning bolt straight at the mill's flailing arms. The whole building rocked and shuddered. The robins on their nest quivered in alarm. Then, with a groan of the mill slouched down on its foundation. Its broken sails creaked to a stop. The old wheel stood still, and the robin's nest was safe. The storm swept on across the meadow, and in the calm it left behind, the battered old mill slept. Soon it was morning. The cows came plodding back to their meadow. The ducks waddled back to their pond, and inside the mill, at the mother and father robin's nest, there was great excitement. "We have 5 hungry babies in our nest," called the mother robin to the sleepy bats, and the drowsy owl, and the spinning spiders, and the scampering mice. "We have 5 hungry babies in our nest," chirped the father robin to the cows and the ducks and the crickets outside the mill as he scratched and pulled and hunted for big, plump, delicious worms. "And how is the world outside now that the storm is over?" asked the mother robin when the father robin returned. "It is all washed fresh and clean by the storm," said the father robin as he dropped a fat chunk of worm into each wide open beak. "And the mill, the dear old mill, looks more beautiful than ever," he chirped. "The good old mill," said the mother robin with a happy sigh. "How lucky we are to have our nest here. Let us never, never leave the dear old mill." Well, that's it for today. We'll see you next time.